Yeah, what up, YouTube? Welcome back. Welcome back. We're on another episode of the live streams. That's Curated Topics brought to you by Curated Sense LLC. Hey, so y'all see the title of today's stream. I want to talk about all this stuff going on in the NBA. It's real interesting. It's real interesting how moves get made and then all this drama comes out so that one side can look better than the other and blah, blah, blah. But we're going to talk about that in a second. Let me hop right into it. I had y'all waiting for about 2 minutes while I got prepared. So we're going to start it off how we always do. We got Candle of the Day since it's not evening. I'm going back with the Classe Azul. I'm about to actually light this on up. We lit this on the stream last time. I'm lighting it on the stream again. You know what I'm saying? And this is about to be great. So we got it lit up now. I really like this candle. It really just has my space smelling so clean and fresh. So fresh and so clean. You know what I'm saying? I am enjoying it. But come on and hop into the chat, man. Let's talk. Let's talk about this that's going on with the Jaylen Brown situation. Now, with his situation, we all know, or some of us may not, but Jaylen Brown has been traded from the Boston Celtics. He got traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. A trade that really has a lot of people scratching their heads because it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense, especially with all the things that went on around this trade. They were trying to trade to get Giannis. That didn't work out. So that's why he was involved in the trade. Then when you're trying to get Giannis, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't work out. You try and go get some other people. And then you tell every other team that they're not giving you enough for Jaylen Brown, just for you to end up and trade him for Paul George and picks. And, Paul George, good player, good reputation behind his name, but he is on the downslide of his career. He did not produce nearly on the same level as Jaylen Brown. So it's got a lot of people scratching their heads, including me. I'm like, hey, yo, what is up with this? That was not a fair trade. That was not a fair trade. I think Boston lost in that trade. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I think Boston lost in that trade. I am really, really disappointed by what's transpiring on the back end. So Jaylen Brown gets traded, and now there's all this drama and all this smut being put on Jaylen Brown's name. You got these executives, but they're coming out anonymously like, oh, well, he just thinks he's the smartest in the room. And, we can't have nobody like that. And he just speaks out on everything and this and this and this. And it's like, bro, we really haven't heard Jaylen Brown say anything really at all in his career. Like, if you're talking about, oh, he's the smartest in the room, you just mad because he actually has an education behind his, basketball career and behind his name. He has a resume, and it's a good resume. So I don't quite understand that. He's been, deep in the Boston community, trying to build up the community when places where they are struggling. He has been involved all up and through Boston, lecturing at MIT and Harvard, so I'm not quite understanding. But that's what we're here to talk about today. I'm going to start it off with some reactions to just some of the things that were said. But I found a little something that I want to start off with first. Now, this comes from somebody's Instagram. I'm not exactly sure who all it is. It's Joe Teka. Tacha. Sorry, I'm butchering your name. I apologize. But he says Jaylen Brown has shown his commitment not only to the Boston Celtics, but to the black neighborhoods of Boston. He's being uprooted from this community because of billionaire Bill Chisholm and private equity firm Sixth Street. The fact that Jaylen is increasing across the sports as well as academic and economic opportunities doesn't matter to them. Players are seen as chips to gamble and fans as dollar signs. Under capitalism, sports aren't about creating community and enjoying friendly competition. They're about the bottom line. Woo! Ric Flair, woo! Okay. That's all I got to say on that one. I mean, he said it pretty good himself there. They don't really care about us. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson, all I really know is that they don't really care about us. They don't. They don't care about you, man. Are you making them money? That's what they want to know. And look, I get it. We we live in we live in capitalism. But my question is, if you have somebody who's building up your fan base, he's, getting within the community, doesn't that equate to more money? Doesn't that help you get paid? Isn't that a good look on your business and your establishment? To have somebody like that, to have somebody who is spending his time building up the community in which he represents and lives. I'm not understanding where your bottom line is dropping out because of that. It's not like he was on the Boston Celtics playing for the team talking about F Boston. Don't nobody come to our games. That's not what he did at all. He showcased his intelligence. He gave other people hope and an example of what excellence is. He inspired other people to not only chase their dreams, not only be athletes, but to also explore their minds as well. How is that a negative? How does that fit the narrative of he's too good for the program and all of that? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. And I think it comes back down to control. I think it comes back down to control. I talked about this in the last stream. When you're very smart, and very outspoken, you get kind of the rebellious moniker put on you simply because you cannot be controlled in that way. And that's where the problem lies. That's where the problem lies. When they can't control you, that's the issue. That's the issue. Because otherwise, it don't make no sense. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense at all. So, how does Jaylen Brown feel now that he is in Philly? Let's find out.
Right. I'm processing. The process is
Who is
back.
this big
Fuck
dude in
on.
the background?
We've been shutting the process down for the last I don't know how many years. The process been over, but now the process is back, motherfucker. Right. I'm processing.
I think that's funny. And you know what? I also think it's a good way to look at it. Hey, his entire career, it's been about shutting Philly down. Not just Philly, but that's a part of it, as them being competitors, them being within the same conference, them being rivals, things like that. So he's like, hey, man, I got to shut this shit down. The process, yeah, you talking all that good shit, but I gotta shut that shit down. Me and Jason, we gotta shut it down. But now that you've been traded to arguably one of your bigger rivals in the conference. Hey, look, now the process could be back on. The process could be back on. And oddly enough, a lot of these other players have been kind of quiet. I think VJ Edgecombe said something, where he called into the stream and he was like, "Yeah, I'm ready to play. What's up?" But like some of these other players have been a little bit quiet. I'd be interested to see, okay, how does Tyrese Maxey feel? I'd be real interested to see how does Joel Embiid feel? Because as we saw, there was some drama between the two of them in the last playoffs where, him and Joel Embiid had a little back and forth going during the game. Now it didn't look like nothing too crazy, but they had a little back and forth going. And actually, Joel Embiid kind of sparked some of these trade talks. He sparked some of these trade talks with Philly knocking off the Boston Celtics. Pause, super pause. But with Philly knocking them out of the playoffs, that's what set a lot of this in motion. That's what set a lot of this in motion. Them knocking the Boston Celtics out of the playoffs, then Jaylen Brown hopping in the stream talking about how Joel Embiid was flopping, this and that. Next thing you know, Jaylen's on the chopping block. He's on the trading block. This is kind of interesting. The way this is playing out, you write this as a Disney movie. This is kind of interesting. I'm here for the plot. But I want to hear from these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody go find Joel Embiid. Hey, is the process back on? Are you going, I guarantee you, he is in the hyperbolic, time chamber. He is in the water bath trying to get 1,000% healthy. Because if Joel Embiid is 100% healthy, he's like 10% healthy. So he really needs to be 1,000% healthy so that he can come back and play 60 games. I don't trust Joel Embiid to play all 82, but if he can get back to where he's playing at like 60, 70 games, this season's going to be interesting. So my question for Joel Embiid, hey, yo, is the process back on? Do you trust the process? Because this is probably this could be your year. This could be your year. Y'all got the squad now. So this could be your year, brother. You never know. Okay, but what did Jason Tatum have to say? I talked about all these players with the 76ers. Now, what did Jason Tatum have to say? My bad, y'all. I'm struggle streaming. I was a little bit too early on that one, but here we go. 9 years. Forever grateful for all that we accomplished together, for pushing me to be a better player. From first round exits to winning a chip together, I'm thankful for it all. Nothing but love and respect for you as a player and as a person. Looking forward to see how you attack this next chapter of your career, and wishing you nothing but the best for you. Continue to be special. Now I gotta say that's a classy response. It's a classy response from Jason Tatum. And this is just what they put out online for us to see. He probably said more to him over the phone or through a text, something like that. And that is, that is really, really nice. It's really good to see that there, at least publicly, there isn't any bad blood. Now, there have been some speculations. And I kind of want to jump to that. I am going to show those little highlights though, just so we can mix it up right quick. But I'm gonna jump down to the speculations a little bit so that we can talk about them because they're kind of crazy. They are kind of crazy. But here we go. So let's check out some of these highlights.
What a season
he's Ooh, what a cross. Bang out. Oh, yeah.
Oh, what a slam from Jaylen Brown.
That was nice.
Brown kicks it out. Smart fakes.
Oh, I remember this. That was a crazy play. That was a crazy play. And in that moment, I'm like, oh yeah, they going somewhere.
Leading scorer in the playoffs. What a season.
And this is them together. Okay, so as you can see, these guys had a team built around them. They were a dynamic duo. Arguably one of the best dynamic duo in the NBA. I would definitely put them as a premier duo in the league. Premier duo in the league. Any night that you went up against these guys, it was going to be crazy. It was going to be crazy. Absolutely nuts. So, to see them kind of depart from each other and things like that, it's disappointing for sure. Disappointing for sure. But you know what? I'm excited to see what they have coming next. I'm excited to see that. But there is something. This is kind of what makes this trade so crazy, because we're about to see this in reverse. I think we're going to see this, but in reverse all next season. It says, now that he's a Sixer, can we talk about how nasty this was? Yeah, but really. Let's see the play. Oh, yeah. Nasty work. Beginning of the game, too. That's how you set the tone right there. And I am looking forward to seeing that from Jaylen Brown next season. I am very excited for next season. I really can't wait. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I really can't wait for next season. I wish the NBA season, I wish it started today. Not going to lie. I know these guys, they need their rest and it's the off season and all of that. But F that. Let's start the season now. You got enough drama. Just start it. Let's go. Because I want to see who's going to be on what team. I want to see Jason Tatum versus Jaylen Brown. I actually might go. I might go and buy the NBA package so I can get all the games. I ain't gonna lie. I might do that. All right, but I want to get back onto the Jaylen Brown situation. So here's the thing for me, right? Here's the thing for me. So Jaylen Brown, he leaves the Celtics. You don't hear too much from him during all the trade talks. Now, we heard his stuff that he said afterwards. And to be quite honest with you, it was pretty tame. It wasn't like, he didn't try to jilt anybody. He didn't talk too much trash. He did say that there were some things he didn't like about how it was handled, but he didn't even get too deep into it. He was like, I got love for Brad Stevens. I got love for the Celtics. They're the ones who drafted me, but, I wish some things could have been handled a little bit differently, which, hey, when you're getting traded, especially when you don't ask for the trade, I think that's pretty reasonable. For you to have some reservations about it, for you to be like, I wish things could have been handled differently. I think that's pretty fair, right? I think that's pretty fair. Okay, but here's what I don't think is fair. When you're the team who did the trading, and then everybody has these questions, and then you start a smear campaign. First it's, oh, well, we were trying to get Giannis. Okay, understandable. Giannis, I can't say that you can just say he's better than Jaylen Brown. He is kind of. He's got two MVPs, two MVPs, two MVPs. One championship. But Jaylen Brown has a championship as well. He also has a Finals MVP as well. He's got an Eastern Conference MVP. So it's not like his resume is far off of Giannis's. Now, in Giannis, you get a 7-foot, slashing forward. Jaylen Brown is not that. I think Jaylen Brown's like, 6'5", 6'6". Okay, so there's a little bit of difference there. They both averaged around the same number of points last year, and Jaylen Brown played all year. Matter of fact, his points directly led to y'all being the number 2 seed. But I'm not here to talk about that trade because it didn't happen anyway. That was why he was in trade talks. Fine. Got it. But then after that, when you trade him for peanuts, when you trade him for Paul George and all of this, and then people are wondering why, and you come out to say some dumb shit like Jaylen Brown was the 7th best player on the team. Fuck are you talking about? Excuse my language. Fuck are you talking about? The 7th? He led the team in scoring. What? While Jason Tatum is out. What? 7th? Derek White is better than Jaylen Brown? Please. Please, get out of here with that bullshit. That's some bullshit if I ever heard it. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. Shout out to Trista. Exactly. Exactly. Y'all can't hear. I'm struggle streaming. Yes, I'm sorry, y'all. I got to restart it, but I was struggle streaming. I didn't realize that I didn't have the sound on. Hold on. Play that shit back one more time. From the 10 out.
I'm kind of confused. Why
From
is
the 10 out.
Brown's value just suddenly plummeted around the Bobby Marks says that an analytics guy told him that they viewed Jaylen Brown as the 7th best player on a team.
The fucking analytics guys
told Shams Charania that they valued Jaylen Brown at 40 cents on the dollar. Am I tripping? Or did Jaylen Brown just lead the Boston Celtics to the 2 seed with no Jason Tatum there and play at an all-NBA and top 5 MVP status and
exactly.
level? Do we not just see the same Jaylen Brown all season long? Yes, the Boston Celtics lost the 76ers. But you cannot discount the change of adding Jason Tatum back into the lineup pretty much towards the end of the season, with 2 weeks left. And all of a sudden, Jaylen Brown is worth a bag of chips and some dirty Fritos and Chris Murray.
Dirty Fritos.
I don't understand it. It feels like teams are playing games. I feel like teams think that they are going to get one over on Brad Stevens, which they are not. It feels like this is all smoke and mirrors. It feels like teams are really trying to get one over because of what? Because Jaylen Brown got on Twitch and talked about a conspiracy in the NBA holding him back. That's why. That's what we're going off of. This is just some fucking bullshit.
And you know what? It is some bullshit. It is some bullshit. But it just goes to show you they don't really care about us. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson, all I really know is that they don't really care about us. This is crazy work. Crazy, crazy work. How do you treat somebody like that? Now, normally when somebody gets traded, it could be because their numbers have gone down a bit. It could be because they have trade value. They said none of these things. They said neither of these things. They said, okay, so, analytically, he's the 7th best player. I'm tired of this analytically bullshit. See, Kenny Atkinson, you started this fucking bullshit. You didn't, but you did this year with the analytically we won 3 games even though you got swept. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And now you got these people talking about, oh, we traded a guy because analytically he was the 7th best player. Analytically? What? What analytics are y'all looking at? What analytics are y'all looking at? I don't understand. He led the team in points. Had the highest points per game that he's had his entire career. Led the team to being the 2nd best team in the Eastern Conference. All while your franchise player is out. All while your franchise player is out. Oh, and by the way, who the fuck else do y'all have on the team? Your next best player is Derek White. I know smut on Derek White's name. He's a good player. But, what? 3rd best guy is Peyton Pritchard, who is coming off the bench. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? You got the nerve. Whoever that analytics guy is, fire him. Fire him. Because what? Because what? Oh, Jaylen Brown, his trade value is 40 cents on the dollar. 40 cents on the dollar got Boston to number 2. If that's my 40 cents on the dollar, I'll take it. You get my team to number 2, you ain't got no other stars on your team? No other stars. I'm talking about stars. None. Did better than the Cavs did last year. In the regular season, did better than the Knicks. What are we talking about here? What? This makes absolutely no sense. You're bonkers. You're bonkers. Oh, well, he just isn't all that. What? All because he talked about some stuff on Twitch. Now, do I think these guys should be out here streaming and podcasting and all that during the season? I don't. But this wasn't even during the season. And you know what? Maybe he should have left his frustrations to be private. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he should have. But come on, man. Come on, man. This is absolutely crazy. The Jaylen Brown slander has got to stop. It's got to stop. Now let's hear what Paul Pierce got to say. He says, this is what your career has been built on, not being respected. You didn't make the Olympic team. You're not in the top 5 of all NBA. This is what keeps you hungry. I think that's a good message to send to him. I think that's a good message to send to him because it actually does exactly that, especially with the type of player that Jaylen Brown is. Jaylen Brown is the type of player, when you watch him play, you like, yeah, you can tell he's got a chip on his shoulder. And so I commend Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce was an amazing Celtics player. Amazing Celtics player. He won a championship with the Celtics. But this message tells you exactly what you need to know. He's like, hey, embrace the disrespect. You've been getting it. You've been going through it. And see, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, they're going to respect you then. Because what they can't deny is the accomplishments that he has. They can't take away that Finals MVP. They can't take away that Eastern Conference MVP. They can't take away that championship that you won for them.
How can we cut costs but in the long run but still be competitive? Right. And so I think at the end of the day, it was a combination of some things that maybe turned off the franchise that was said, the combination of money-driven obligations in the future, and this is what we've come to. So it is what it is. But at the meantime, when you look at the Celtics roster, it's still a roster that you look like and say, hey, they can still come out the East with this roster. So, it's unfortunate because, he, like I said, he poured his soul into the city. He was a finals MVP, a champion. And although I think he feels like he doesn't get the respect that he deserves maybe from the organization, but Jaylen has to understand this is what your career has been built on. Not being respected. You didn't make the Olympic team. It's like you're not. How can we cut costs, but in the long run, but still be competitive? I think in the top five, it was a combination of, you know what I'm saying. So like, this is what keeps you the franchise that was said, and the combination. You have to come to the fact that
Hold on.
I came to this realization.
They be mixing them up.
I'm not respected like I feel like
There we
I
go.
should, but
Sorry about that.
sometimes that's what keeps you hungry, and sometimes those are the things that motivate you to keep you and drive you to become the player that you are today, which is a future Hall of Famer, possibly a top 100 player when they announced that. And so, things happen for a reason.
Yeah, I mean,
So I agree with Paul Pierce on that. And like I said, I think that's a good message for him to put out there for Jaylen. Hey, you've been disrespected your whole career, brother. You've been disrespected your whole career. And so it's not anything that's new to you. You know what I'm saying? Take that, embrace it, and use it to push you further rather than dwell on it too much. Don't let it turn you into the player that they want you to be. You know what I'm saying? Like that sort of thing. And I think he's right on that. But I definitely think that Jaylen Brown also deserves more respect. He does. He deserves more respect. The things that he's done simply for the Celtics as an organization. Anytime Jason Tatum went out, Jaylen Brown has elevated his play. He's elevated his play. When Tatum was struggling, you see Jaylen Brown walk over to him, give him some words of encouragement. Hey man, you struggling right now, but keep shooting that thing. All those sorts of things. So it's like, to say, oh, he's not a good player, to say he doesn't have the team chemistry, he's bad for the locker room, it's simply not true. Right? It's simply not true. And Jaylen Brown deserves more respect.
Can't casually double team unexpectedly, because that's when Boston's so dangerous.
Look at this. This is what got him
38 years old.
Finals MVP. Locking down Luka, locking down all these other players.
As Jaylen Brown gets the easy two in transition.
So it's like, these are the things. If this was on my team, I wouldn't trade that. I would not trade that. But Paul Pierce said something else as well. He said something else as well. This was a money move. They had, they had some analytics guy, some guy talking about analytics. They had him go and look into the future to see, okay, how much are we going to have to pay Tatum? How much are we going to have to pay Brown? And with them having to pay them both so much money, they're like, okay, well, we got to cut costs somewhere. And that's what it boils down to. We're going to have to cut costs somewhere. But here's my question. Then why the hell did you pick up Paul George, whose contract is asinine? Contract is asinine. Let's see what Draymond got to say.
Jaylen Brown traded to the Philadelphia 76ers for Paul George, 2 first-round picks, a pick swap, and 2 second-round picks. And
F them picks.
I saw someone say, "Oh man, this is just about an even swap." And no disrespect to Paul George, but this isn't an even swap. I got a lot of love for PG. But like myself, PG is 36 years old. Not like myself, I'm going into year 15. I think PG's going into year 17. And Jaylen Brown, not even 30 years old. He's 29 years old, and he's going into year 11. So, and by the way, he won Finals MVP 2 years ago. I think he just made All-NBA second team this year. Was arguably, controversially, possibly could have. Jaylen Brown traded the first team performer, but the votes are with Paul George, two first. So it's not an even swap. Like
not at all.
Talking just player for player. It's not.
It's not.
I don't think, that's no shot at
and they
PG.
threw all them picks in, but
I don't think Paul George would say at this point in his career, him and Jaylen Brown are an even swap. So when I look at sports media and I see people saying that, either one, you're not smart, or two, you're trying to lessen the value of Jaylen Brown. You're trying to make it out as if Jaylen Brown isn't Jaylen Brown.
And that's the problem. That's the problem right there. That's the problem that everybody is having with this. For you to say, and this is the media, this is where we got to call out some of these media guys. Because for you to say, oh, Jaylen Brown's the problem. Jaylen Brown is the one who's not as good. Jaylen Brown is the one whose value is down. You are full of shit. You're full of shit. Plain and simple. You can't even make the what have you done for me lately argument, because lately he did everything at a high level. He was the best player that he's been in his entire career. He was the best version of himself. So y'all are full of shit. And it makes me think, okay, was this last season, was it a ploy? Right? Was it a ploy? Was it a setup? You got Jason Tatum, who got injured, which is unfortunate. Didn't see that coming, didn't want that to happen. That was during a season where Boston thought they could have been going back to the finals. They could have thought that they could have been going back to the finals the year that OKC won. But let's fast forward. Okay, they know that Jason Tatum is going to be out because of that injury all last year. So what does everyone think? What does everyone in the media think? Everyone thinks Boston's done at least for a year. No, everybody counts them out. They're like, oh, Boston, they not going to make the playoffs. That's going to be a slot where another team can slide in, maybe do something a little bit. Pause. That was crazy, the slide in part. Pause. But you are now counting Boston out of the playoffs. You're like, okay, they still got Jaylen Brown. He can do his little 20 points per game. They won't be the worst team, but they might be in the lottery. There were people who were saying that the Boston Celtics might be in the lottery. And so I'm wondering, okay, you got the media saying those things. I'm wondering, what is the coaching staff thinking? What is the GM thinking? What is ownership thinking? Are they thinking, okay, well, Jason Tatum's out, so the whole season is a wash. Let's prepare to get some good draft picks. Did they want to be in that conversation to be in the lottery? Instead, you got Jaylen Brown going, we ain't about to be in no damn lottery. I'm about to show y'all I can carry this team. We might not get to the promised land, but I can carry this team and put the team on my back. I am going to carry the load, pause, while Jason recovers. And that could have not been what the Boston Celtics wanted either. That could have been against their game plan. Could have been. We don't know. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm speculating. What if that was against their game plan? What if they didn't want Jaylen Brown to have a great year? You know what I'm saying? They wanted him to just do his same old, don't overachieve, so we can do something else. I don't know. See, here's the other reason. We talked about the money a little bit, but when you overperform, you can then go in and negotiate and get more money. You can go in and you can sign an extension, get more dollars, because now you have proof that you have worth, you have value, and that you can produce without the quote-unquote best player being there. You know, hey, I got us to number 2, even when the franchise player wasn't here, so what's up with some more cash? That could have gone against what they wanted as well. So that's why they paint all these narratives. But let's talk about what Brad Stevens had to say, and this really pissed me off. But he says, oh no, excuse me, this is from an anonymous GM. I don't like this shit either. It's really hard to tie up that much of your salary cap in one player unless they're truly generational, and he's not even close to that. Fuck you mean he's not even close to that? So, let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. They said, oh, he's not even close to that. Who is close to that? The person you just tried to trade for, right? The person you just tried to trade for being Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? And in his stats for the 25-26 season, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo right there at 27 points per game. 27.6 points per game. And he's considered a generational talent. Yet Jaylen Brown, who is averaging 28 points per game last season, he's not even close to a generational talent. Oh, really? Because his numbers are better from last season. His numbers are better from last season. Oh, but he ain't generational, you know. You know, them generational guys, they up there at 27. And if we want to go with career, highlights, career averages, you got Giannis sitting at 24 points per game. Oh, wow. 24 points per game for his career. What? I'm not understanding. Now let's see what Jaylen Brown's worth for his career. Let's see what Jaylen Brown's are for his career. I just want the career stats. Okay, 20 points per game. So you got 24 points for somebody who's considered a generational talent versus 20 points for somebody who you consider to be not even close. That's some old bullshit. They talking about Jaylen Brown like he averaged like 9-10 points a game. What are we talking about here? They had another GM come out and say this. I mean, the guy got traded for less than Walker Kessler. That's baffling to me. Yeah, because who the fuck is Walker Kessler? I mean, I know who he is. He's a decent player. He's averaging like 14 points a game. Who the fuck is that? We talking about what? This is the kind of disrespect they putting on Jaylen Brown's name. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. If Jaylen Brown isn't happy winning Finals MVP, All NBA, winning with the Boston Celtics, how's it going to be with us? If he's not happy there, what is he looking for? It scares teams. Jaylen Brown did not ask to be traded. Jaylen Brown did not ask to be traded. What are y'all talking about? This is the kind of bullshit that is going around in the league. He never asked to be traded. What do you mean if he isn't happy? He didn't ask to be traded. You should be saying if the Boston Celtics aren't happy, what's going to make them happy? As I'll tell you, it's Paul George. It's Paul George. He's gonna take Boston to the promised land. Playoff P. Has Playoff P ever even been to the finals? And this is no disrespect to Paul George. I'm trying to talk about the thinking of the Boston Celtics. Has he even been to the finals? What are we doing here? I'm surprised they felt so forced to do it right now. To Philly and for that package, I'm shocked. I don't understand it. I can't figure it out. Exactly, because it ain't make no damn sense. I like Baylor Shireman and Hugo Gonzalez, but those guys aren't moving the needle. I'd rather have Giannis and not those two than Paul George with those two. I don't even know who these guys are. I don't even know who they are. I've seen them play on the team before, but for 4 minutes. What are we talking about? You gonna put Paul George with those two guys, and you think you're replacing Jaylen Brown? This is how I know some of these guys is on something. Some of these guys are on something. This don't make no sense at all. But you know what? It is what it is. Now let's see what Brad Stevens had to say. When I looked at our team and I looked at the way the league was heading, the path looked a little bit more challenging with 70% of our cap and such a high percentage of our usage tied to two players. Okay.
When I looked at our team and I looked at where the league was heading, looked at the way that we've finished the last couple years, and also looked at the unbelievable way we've played in the regular season in the last couple years, the path looked a little bit more challenging to me. I might be wrong. I'm not going to stand up here and be defensive about that. But the path looked a little bit more challenging with 70% of our cap and such a high percent of our usage tied into two players. The reality in this era and in this day and age of the NBA, and you could see it obviously with the last couple of champions and some of the teams that were at the very top of the league when it was all said and done at the end of this year, is that, you know, you have to do a great job and you have to have the optionality to do a great job of building out depth that can hopefully replace the irreplaceable individual. And that's not an easy thing to do. When I look.
So I'm going to pause it right here, right quick. Just turn off the sound because I'm going to go to the other videos. But what is Brad Stevens basically saying? He's basically saying it comes down to money. It comes down to money. You know, when he looked into the future, when he looked into his crystal ball, I don't see how we can keep a team going when most of the money is getting paid out to two guys. Okay, fair enough. Here's my question. Did you ever ask either one of the guys if they were willing to take a little bit of a pay cut so that you could win? We saw that with the Knicks. Talked about how Jalen Brunson, the superstar of the team, took over $100 million pay cut so that he could build a team around him so that he could get to the championship. I think Jaylen Brown is a smart enough guy to at least have that conversation with him. Right? Did you do that, Brad? Of course not. But here's number two. Number two is, motherfucker, you can't see the fucking future. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You can't see the future. When you look at the future of the NBA and where the league is heading, the league is the same. The league is relatively the same. Instead of having 3 stars, you need 2 now and a bench. Well, you got to. Had to. See, the thing is you can't afford the bench, is what you're saying. Here's the other telling part. Right? The motherfucker know that he's probably wrong. People know when they probably wrong when they tell you. He said, nah, I could be wrong. You are wrong. And you know you're wrong. You know you're wrong. That's why you said it like that. I could be wrong. I mean, I could be. We'll see. Nah, Nick, excuse me. No, you're wrong. You're wrong, Brad Stevens. You know good and damn well you're wrong. There's something else there, and we can hear it. We can tell in the expression. There's something else there. This wasn't no tough decision. Because if it was a tough decision, you would have went into the season before you made it. If this was a tough decision, you would have said, you know what? Let's see how part of this season goes before the trade deadline. That's what you would have did if this was a tough decision. What you didn't bank on was the fact that Jaylen Brown would overachieve last season. I'm bringing it back to the money. See, what happens with the money? Excuse me, I'm readjusting. But what happens with the money, right? What happens with the money when you don't perform well? You can get you a good incoming rookie on that rookie contract. You can get you a good incoming rookie on that rookie contract. Now, he said, I looked into the future. You looked into the future, meaning you looked to see how many draft picks y'all had over the next couple of years. How many draft picks do we have? How many draft picks are we going to get if we keep these 2 guys and we keep going into the playoffs without winning championships? He looked at the team. He said, are we good enough now to win a championship? If the answer isn't equivocally yes, if it is maybe, if it's, well, this needs to happen and this needs to, nope. And see, that's what they don't want to tell you. That's what they don't want you to know. They didn't want Jaylen Brown to overperform last season. They actually banked on the team failing so that, all right, we can pay Jason Tatum, we can pay Jaylen Brown, we can buy us a rookie. We can get us a good rookie on a shitty contract, on a rookie salary, and then build it out from there. And then once that rookie gets trained up and is good, then we can start breaking the team up. And that didn't happen because Jaylen Brown overperformed in the year prior. He overperformed this past season. So now it messed up all the GM's moves. And he said, well, looking into the future, we ain't going to have no damn picks. So I had to figure some shit out. That's what he should have said. Instead, he made it about money. He let all these other things leak out and all of that. And it sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
That's absolutely nothing against Jaylen, right? If you have Jaylen Brown on your
look
team,
at his mouth.
You should feature him. You should use all those possessions, and you should approach things that way. But I think
It looked like
the
he lied.
importance of depth.
I know he lying because
And
his
then
lips
obviously
sticking
we have
together
to
as he tries to talk.
continue to work on ways to diversify our attack.
Even your mouth don't want
overall.
to get
All
the
that being
words
said,
out. Pause.
Still wasn't, still would not have made a move unless we thought the right opportunity presented itself.
And what's the right opportunity? The right opportunity is Paul George and picks. See, this is that coded language that they don't want to tell you. This is the reading in between the lines that you got to do. The right move was Paul George and some future picks so that they can save money. Brad Stevens don't think they're going to do anything in the years to come. And this move kind of seals that. He is banking on the fact, hoping that they don't do anything. Now, they might make it into the playoffs. They might get a decent seeding. But he's banking on the fact that they don't do shit in the next couple of years. Why? Because then they've got picks where they can get these guys on rookie contracts. They can rebuild that way. And then by the time they are good again, they flush with cash and they're not paying out a whole bunch of money. And then they'll start it all over again. It kind of sounds like they're trying to be like OKC a little bit. But here's the thing. You're not building in the same way. And then for you to put the disrespect out there onto Jaylen Brown's name, we know it came from inside Boston. Come on. We ain't stupid. We know it came from inside Boston. It's crazy, crazy work. So, what do we learn from this? Well, we learn to follow the money. And we learn that, hey, not everybody's got your back, man. That is for sure. Especially in this game that they call business. Not everybody's got your back. And that's okay. That is okay. So, I'm checking my mic check, guy. Sorry, y'all, but I want to take a look at something else Brad had to say. What does he say here? If I was being honest, if that exact deal came from a team out west and you were comparing the two, then you'd probably pick the team out west. But that's not the way it's working. He is talking about the Paul George for Jaylen Brown trade.
The Philly part, I'm with you. That is a hard thing to trade a guy that you, first of all, care so much about, but secondly, have so much respect and admiration for, to a team that just beat you in the playoffs and that you're going to literally play 6 times before the playoffs next year with our 2 preseason games. But I do think that ultimately when you do a deal, you have to be thinking about you first and the optionality it creates for you. If I was being honest, if that exact deal came from a team out west and you were comparing the two, then you probably take the team out west. But that's not the way it was working. The Philly part, I'm with you.
Now, what does that say? That's Brad. That's Brad Stevens' way of saying, "Hey, man, I was just trying to wheel and deal. I told y'all it's about the money. You know, Boston is trying to. It seems like they're trying to enter a rebuild phase. They're trying to enter a rebuild phase so that they can make more money. They had 2 guys who came in, you know, earned their money, and rightfully so. But it's like, okay, well, they're taking up a large chunk of the pie. We need our pie back. We need our pie back. So let's split up this team. They got a new owner, which another reason that they're probably splitting up the team, because he's going to want to see more profits since he just, emptied out some money from his pockets. And so it's a complete shakeup in order to get cash. Once again, that's cool, but say that. Don't let any type of disrespect go out there about Jaylen Brown. It's not about his play. It's not about his play. Here's what the owner had to say. This was all about trying to win. I think we have the best front office in the NBA, and they came to the conclusion this was the best way for us to win. No, it's not. I just want to know what you smoking on. What are you smoking on? To trade away your finals MVP. Crazy work. Crazy work. And then to do so without taking other people into account. Crazy work. What's this say right here? Brad Stevens says, Jason and I have not talked in great depth about that. I didn't want to put that on him or anyone else that's in the playing group. Well, why the fuck not? Why not? Why would you not ask the group how they might feel about a change like this? What are we doing? What are we doing? This is where you got to ask the question of what are y'all talking about?
When I looked at our team, I might be wrong, but the path looked a little bit more challenging with 70%
You might be
of
wrong.
our cap and such a high
You are
percent
wrong.
of our usage tied into two players. It was a really hard call. I'm not saying it was the right call. We wanted to stay good, and we wanted to add more optionality. I think that
You're not about to stay good. You're not about to stay good. See, that's the thing there. Because who's to say that Jason Tatum is ready to carry the team? He's coming off an injury, man. We don't know that he's 100%. Now, he came back early last season, performed halfway decent, but, he still had to sit out in the playoffs. So who's to say that he's at 100%? It's only a couple months out. It's only a couple months out. We don't know that he's at 100%. Oh, we wanted to remain good? How you going to remain good by getting rid of arguably your best player? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So this is kind of a funny reaction that I want to do from Last Take. Not First Take, Last Take.
This is the greatest trade in NBA history for the Boston Celtics.
What?
They got a guy in playoff PED, George Paul, who right now is a
George
better
Paul,
player
I'm
than
dead.
Jaylen Brown is on the Philadelphia 76ers. How are you gentlemen feeling about this? First of all, I'm appalled. I'm appalled. I feel like
They
I've been
funny.
hoodwinked.
They are funny.
Run amok. Let us
Hey, why
strike.
they do Shannon like that?
All because the brother is too articulate and smart.
It's crazy, Stephen A. This is the worst trade in the history of trades. Let me tell you something right there. JoJo White is doing backflips in his grave. Bill Russell is doing cartwheels in his grave. John Havlicek is doing the damn worm in his damn grave. Look, they done did that boy dirty. Look, all I know, this boy was an
Skip
MVP,
Payless.
Finals MVP. He was an MVP candidate this previous season. He playing
Stephen
all
A.
NBA,
Smith.
lights out. You know,
Shannon
even though
Sharpie.
Jason Tatum
Lil
was
Perk.
hurt. You know, he still carried that team. It was supposed to be a dub this year. It was they were supposed to be done. They was the second seed in the NBA. I'm sorry, in the Eastern Conference. Now, and they sent him up for a chopped cheese sandwich, a Philly cheesesteak, and some mambo sauce from Washington that they threw in there. But I'm telling you right now, Brad Stevens, he's going down as the worst. It don't matter how much he won, he's going down as the worst GM of all time.
Worse than the guy that traded Luka Doncic. What's the guy name? The GM got fired.
Rico Harrison.
You think Brad Stevens worse than Rico Harrison?
Well, that's what he doing with the Lakers now. He playing with his money. He like young Miami. He's spending that.
Woo. Yeah.
Spin that ish. Spin that ish.
Allow me to say, both you guys, Stephen A. and Lil Perk, are dead wrong about this Jaylen Brown trade. This is the greatest trade in NBA history for the Boston Celtics.
What?
They got a guy in playoff PED, as in George Paul, who right now is a better player than Jaylen Brown. He just is. He's a better fit for them. He's more efficient. He plays better and bigger D.
Pause.
Ends. Trust me.
Hey, shout out to Last Take. If y'all don't follow them, go and follow them. That was really funny. Hey, all four of those guys, they really had the mannerisms down. I really like how, first of all, I like the little play on words with the people's names and stuff like that. You got Skip Bayless, who Skip Payless. He had Skip's little head nod, that little thing that Skip Bayless be doing. He had that down. And Stephen A. Smith, he was funny. So shout out to them. I am going to pick this up either later on today or tomorrow because I got to run. I got a couple things I got to do. But I am going to do a part 2 for this because the Jaylen Brown disrespect got to stop. It's got to stop. This is crazy work. So thank you all for tuning in. We're gonna talk a little bit more. I'm also going to get onto the LeBron conversation as well. I know I didn't do that in this stream because I was just going through all the Jaylen Brown stuff, but we're going to do a part 2 either today or this weekend. So make sure you tune in. Appreciate you all for coming. Shout out to all my viewers. Shout out to all my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We working over here. We building it up over here. So, hey, I will catch y'all on the next one. Have a great Friday and tune in later. I think I'm going to do it tonight. So tune in later and check out the outro music, y'all. Got some outro music. La, la,